Hello all and welcome to Astro Wheel of Fortune. My name is Vlada and I read tarot, and today I'm doing your October predictions. Honestly, I cannot believe I'm already doing the October predictions. It feels like I did September predictions only moments ago. So yeah, we're doing October predictions. So the usual, I will be looking at the physical, I'll be looking at the overall energy and the kind of energy of the month and the concept of the month. Then we'll be looking at your physical and material reality. Then we'll also be looking at your emotional and relationship type of themes. And of course, at the end, we'll also look at your spiritual and self-development. As always, if you enjoyed this reading, just make sure to subscribe, like the video, comment for engagement, even just to say hello. It really does help if you comment. It drives the videos up in the algorithm. It helps my channel grow. It helps other people discover me. It helps me find people that I can work with. I've actually found a lot of collaborators through YouTube, which has been really, really cool. And if you can help me drive that, that would be much appreciated. So if you can just even drop a comment with an emoji or something like that, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. And if you feel like tipping, you can tip me also. You can tip me with the super thanks button at the bottom of the video, or you can tip me on my PayPal link down below. It's listed in the description box if you'd like to do that. If you want a private reading or you'd like to subscribe to my Patreon, you can do that as well. The links are down below, and you can also follow me on Instagram at Astro Wheel of Fortune if you want. I'm not posting on my Instagram too much recently in terms of posts, but I do have I use it for announcements and things like that. So if I'm ever doing anything, things like workshops, etc., it's handy. So if you ever want to keep up with what I am putting out and what I'm doing, the Instagram page is good for that. Anyway, so this is going to be your October predictions. If you need more time in choosing your group, you can pause the video and see which one is being calling you the most, but we're going to get started. So I'm going to get started with group number 1. Let's get into it. So put these aside and let's get into your October group number 1. We've got Sundress, Do It For You. Grand Trine, Blessings. Ground and Center. Nothing. And we also have Succubus Cave, Protect Your Energy, Draining Energy, Toxic Relationships, and Temptation. Oh, I'm getting such a strong energy of abstaining from certain things. Like abstinence is coming through as a big one. So some of you might decide to give something up, it reminds me of when people give things up for Lent, or people decide to fast for spiritual reasons. There's a sense of you trying to connect to yourself spiritually, and therefore you're giving, this kind of reminds me oh, I'm going to give up alcohol for a month. I'm not going to drink for a month, or I'm going to give up doing this for a month. It's a thing that I usually do, and is quite a bit of a temptation for me. It doesn't have to be an addiction straight out. It doesn't have to be a full-blown addiction. Although for some of you, maybe you will decide to say to yourself, look, let's say you're a smoker or something like that. You might say to yourself, okay, let me just stop smoking for a month and see where it takes me. And if I don't feel any better after a month, I'll take up smoking again or something like that. But I do feel this strong sense of abstinence in order to ground. So I think for some of you, it could be abstinence from sex. For some of you, I'm seeing that. So you might decide to not have sex, or for some of you, it could be that you decide to stop dating, maybe because you're kind of I've been dating and now I feel like I need a detox or something like that. So there's a sense of detox that I'm picking up. But it's so much more than that. It's not just a detox. It has some sort of a spiritual component to it. I want to reconnect with my spirituality. I want to reconnect with my spiritual body. And therefore, I need to stop doing something on a physical level in order to bring that kind of grounding to myself. I feel like you're kind of cleansing yourself in many different ways physically in order to reconnect to yourself spiritually. But I think there's going to be one kind of like standout thing that you decide to abstain from, like you decide to not engage with. Um, yeah. There's a feeling that you feel the need in October, you feel the need to replenish something and to claim back your power, claim back your energy in some sort of way. You might even decide to abstain from like socializing. For some of you, you might actually decide that you want to spend October by yourself for the most part. It doesn't have to be that you completely lock yourself away. Um, but for some of you, it could be that you maybe decide to, like, if you're someone who's not typically social, then I don't think that's for you. I feel like this would be for you if you are someone who tends to be very social. Maybe you tend to go out a lot. Maybe you tend to spend your weekends kind of like with a lot of people, socializing. It could be that in October you decide to pull that energy back to reclaim. And honestly, I think the body language in these two cards is very interesting. Like they pretty much have the same body language here. They're both, the arms are stretched out, they're standing firmly on the ground, and they're looking up with their eyes closed. I just think the body language here is so similar. I feel like there's a strong, and I think you might go out into nature and like kind of take it all in, take in the energy, the emotion, the feeling of the like nature landscapes that you visit. But I'm seeing a lot of alone time is being shown to me here for this group in October. But it's like it's your choice. It's not that alone time is just happening because you don't have people to hang. In fact, I think you might even be highly in demand in October. Like there might be people who want to see you, who want to interact with you, who want to connect with you. But I think you're making a conscious choice to abstain and to be alone. For a lot of you, I honestly am getting, if you are someone who has been dating a lot or you've been like seeing a lot of people or something like that, I'm getting a pullback in your energy, deciding like I'm not gonna date anybody, like I'm not in, or maybe you just like one person takes your attention and you're like, okay, I'm only dating this one person because I don't want to date all these other, like, let's be real, let's be honest, I don't want to date all these people here. So but for most of you, I don't think it's even like one person. I think it's like nobody, like I'm just in my own company, I'm alone. Because I feel like there's certain things that have drained your energy over the past couple of months, and you are very mindful of that. You're very tuned into that. Maybe you spent the last couple of months noting and observing the kind of things that drained your energy or took your energy. So I feel like this is going to be a time of solitude, but solitude that you're choosing for yourself to fulfill some sort of like a spiritual purpose in terms of connecting to yourself again and cleansing your kind of like vessel, whether it be your spiritual vessel or your body vessel, like cleansing it all, probably both, but cleansing it all out to kind of remind yourself of who you are again, to get yourself connected to you again. It's like, let me get back into myself. Let me get back into my energy, my body, my soul. And I think by the end of October, there's going to be this feeling of having a blank space. So you're going to be ready to fill that blank space with other things. By the end of October, I kind of feel like towards Scorpio season, towards Scorpio season, which does start at the end of October, there's going to be this feeling of like, okay, I'm ready to fill myself back up again. It's like I'm cleansing myself out completely. This kind of reminds me of because there's a jar here on this deck. If you can see it, it's like a little jar. What I'm getting is like, if you have like a jam jar or a jar of sauce that you used for cooking or something like that, and before you throw it out, you like wash it out in the sink and you dry it or whatever so that you can like throw it out and like recycle it in the glass recycling bin or whatever, but like you clean it out. for some reason I keep being shown that like you're taking all the, and it's kind of like you're the glass jar, but you're like cleaning all the stuff that had a purpose, you know, like, right, a sauce or a jam has a purpose, that it's in the jam jar, it has a purpose. But at some point where like it's been used up, the remaining kind of like remains of the sauce or remains of the jam, it makes sense to cleanse it out, to clean it out, wash it out, and then recycle the glass into something new, repurpose it. So it kind of feels like you're going to be ready to repurpose yourself in November or closer towards the end of October. But I feel like most of October is going to be spent like in this cleansing state, like you cleansing this like metaphorical jam jar out, where you are cleansing yourself in order to have that cleansed energy, so that this cleansed energy can be repurposed into something new, maybe a project, maybe an idea. I feel like your guides are saying don't rush this process. Like this cleansing process cannot be rushed. I think for this group especially, if you are into like actual cleansing rituals, it would be a good idea to do things like cleansing baths. It would be a good idea to cleanse your room, whether it be with meditation. I'm especially getting meditation. This is reminding me, I don't know if you know the method of cleansing your room by meditating and imagining a big white light cleansing the whole room and expanding through the room. For some reason, that is coming through as like an effective method for a lot of you especially. So I think it's going to be important to declutter, to clean your room, but it's not just that. And I think that's like only kind of like an add-on energy. The main thing is like cleansing your energy. And I'm really getting the idea of abstaining from something. That is just such a strong energy. I'm abstaining from alcohol. I'm abstaining from sex. I'm abstaining from maybe like going out and having my weekends packed up with like events and socializing. There's just this sense of like, I'm going to abstain so that I can cleanse and I can process things and be in my own company, in my own energy, maybe be in nature. But it's going to be good. Like, I feel like it's going to be really good for you. And I feel for a lot of you, I'm already getting some messages for you for November. I think in November, you might be starting something new where this kind of blank energy is really going to serve you. So maybe you're supposed to start something in November. That's what it feels. It feels like your guides want you to know that this cleansing period is really important, because in November, you're going to be starting something, or like towards the end of October, you're going to be starting something really important. Maybe a new job, maybe a new project, maybe working on some sort of like piece of art, or like a creative project. Maybe you're going to start a new business. Whatever it is, you're going to be starting something very important towards the end of October or November. For some of you, this could be a new relationship, but it's only going to be a relationship with someone who is completely respectful of this energy. Like, it's not going to be this kind of like, oh, it's a new relationship that starts, and this person, like, I think this person's going to be very tuned into this like blankness that you are presenting. So I don't think the relationship message is for most of you. I think for most of you, it's like work related, project related, but it feels like something important, like really important. I mean, it could be an important relationship, but I just feel like it's something a little bit more like you're bringing it into. I mean, you could bring a relationship in as well, but I don't know. Yeah, for most of you, it kind of feels like at the end of October / coming into November, you're receiving some sort of a blessing. And it's not that you're receiving it even from the universe. It feels like you're giving it to yourself. But the only reason you can give it to yourself is because you've gone through the stage of cleansing, washing all the old gunk out, spiritual gunk, social gunk, whatever it is. Yeah, you're just like releasing something here. October is going to be this kind of cleansing month for you. But let's look at your material, practical, physical reality right now. We've got the Strength card. So the Strength card makes me feel like you are going to be... There's definitely something about like discipline that I'm picking up in terms of like, again, like I said, discipline around alcohol, discipline around substance, discipline around maybe eating for some of you, nutrition. But it's coming from a place of like, you're not trying to do it so that you lose or gain weight. You're not doing it so that you can look a certain way, that your body looks a certain way. You're doing it so that you are in a state of blank, like, and balance, I guess, like state of blankness and balance. Your physical reality is really going to be reflecting this overall energy, I feel. With the strength card as well, what the physical reality, like, let's say your job or like whatever you're doing for work, I'm seeing you realize that you can't force things to happen. So if there's certain things that you've been trying to force to happen in your career, or you've been trying to force to happen financially, or you've been trying to force to happen from the perspective, like maybe like even force your body to be a certain way, or force your physical form to be a certain way, you are realizing that that's just not going to fly. That's just not going to work. And before you mold again, it's like, it's bringing me back to that like idea of the glass jar being washed out and then being put into the recycling bin for glass and being recycled and repurposed into something new. Before you repurpose the glass jar, you need to clean it. So maybe you've been trying to repurpose the glass jar, whatever that represents you really and your energy, but you haven't cleaned it previously, and so the glass jar it wasn't possible for the glass jar to be repurposed. So it's a feeling of like finally realizing that you need to just kind of go into a blankness, go into a state of complete like neutrality in a way, but it's not just it's not just about neutrality. It's also about like, it's not just about neutrality. It's about having space to accept new energies towards yourself. Like, it's kind of like there's things that need to be cleared out before new energy can come in, and you're recognizing that. So for some of you, you may decide to start looking into how you can leave a certain career or a certain job. It doesn't matter if it doesn't happen all within the month. For some of you, maybe that will happen, but I don't necessarily feel like it has to be that, like, oh, and you leave in October. For a lot of you, it could be. But this is a slow process with the strength card. Like, the energy here is quite slow. It's not quick. It's not rushing ahead or anything like that. It's very patient. It's very slow. Just the way that if you were trying to tame an animal, as I always say with the strength card, just as if you were trying to tame an animal, or you were trying to tame your own wildness within yourself, you would have to be very patient and very slow with it. And so I feel like you're going to be quite slow with the physical process of life in general in October. You're really stopping to pause and reassess and look at what is around you. I kind of feel something that I'm getting at. Of course, we'll look at your emotional state and like your relationships, but there's almost something quite unemotional about you in the month of October. I think it's going to be very hard to get a rise out of you. Not that I think that anyone will try to get a rise out of you, but I feel like if someone did try, you're not easily triggered in a way. There's something quite incredible about your self-control. And I think it's because it's also related to how self-controlled you are in terms of like some sort of physical abstinence that you are experiencing. So again, it's like if you're abstaining from, and especially something that used to have quite a hold on you. So it kind of feels like, if you used to, not that there's anything wrong with it, but if you had a lot of sex, or you were constantly having sex, and that was like something that you really enjoyed, and that was, but now it doesn't feel like it's the right choice for you, and you're like abstaining from it, even though you really like it. Or, if you're someone who really enjoys drinking every weekend, all of a sudden you're abstaining from it, even though you like it, you enjoy it, it's something that you like. Or going out every weekend, again, you're abstaining from it, but you're like, I know I like it, I still know I enjoy it, but I'm choosing to abstain from it to exercise a certain level of discipline. But it's not just about discipline. It's not just about being a disciplined human being. It's also about creating that sense of blankness, detachment. It's like you're detaching. Like you're detaching from something that you otherwise, like, it kind of feels like something that regularly or usually tempts you. You're choosing to abstain from it so that there's a sense of detachment, create that sense of detachment, and show to yourself that you're able to be detached from this thing or this activity or this, but it's something that affects you physically. I feel it feels like it's something that affects you physically. So, yeah, and it's going to serve as a really interesting moment of reconnection to yourself. So let's see what else we've got here. So we've got trine, angelic support. It's interesting. We've got grand trine and we've got trine here. Angelic support, harmony, and perfect flow. I think you are getting your body, especially your physical form, into a very good flow. Maybe some of you are even like, I feel like for a lot of you, you could have started like some sort of a physical process even before, like maybe in September or in August. Maybe a new exercise routine was implemented in September and August, and you're finally getting into the flow of it. It's like you're finally mastering it. So for some of you, this process may have already started. So maybe even when you're watching this reading, this process may have already started. But your physical reality, you're really flowing with. You're not trying to force anything physically. You're not trying to force sales. You're not trying to force a certain outcome in work. You're not trying to force a certain amount of money to come in. You're not trying to force your body to be a certain way. You're not trying to force, you're not trying to force physical outcomes. And you're seeing a lot of flow in your physicality, in your physical reality. Which is really kind of like satisfying, and maybe yet you don't have like the perfect result, but you're already seeing like some sort of, there's a sense of ease with you in October. But in order to have this ease, it's like you have to abstain from something first. So yeah, if you've been thinking of abstaining from something, especially something that affects you physically, this is your confirmation for sure. Take it as your confirmation. So let's have a look at your emotional state, because I do feel a sense of detachment from emotion. We've got the Four of Wands in reverse. I am really, really, really seeing you like turning down invitations. Turning down invitations to parties, to social events, all of that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, thanks for the invitation, but I'm in a zone. You're going into a zone in October. It's like, I'm in the zone. I'm in a state of like, it's like, I don't know why I'm getting this, but it's like almost like you're hypnotizing yourself into a certain state of mind. I do see you turning down a lot of invitations, and I think it's going to be so hard. Invitations to do whatever this is. First of all, like that's kind of like what I'm getting. Whatever I'm getting here, whatever this substance is, or whatever this physical activity is, whatever this, something that you really enjoy physically, but you also know that in order to create a sense of detachment, you need to abstain from it, at least for a month or at least for a couple of weeks, you know. I am seeing this dedication to this abstinence, and because of this dedication, you're being tested, of course. And so I'm seeing people in your life will test you with invitations to do the very thing that you're trying to abstain from. All of a sudden, you have all these opportunities to engage in it. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm just going to take a sip of water. Yeah, all of a sudden you have all these opportunities to engage in it. All of a sudden you have all these opportunities to connect to it. And there is a difficulty here where it feels like, God, like as soon as I decide to abstain from it, it seems like it's here in abundance. It's coming my way constantly. You're going to notice a lot of invitations. I'm just getting, there is this sense of like devil energy. Of course, we didn't pull the devil card, but this card reminds me of that devil energy. It says draining energy, toxic relationships, temptations. It's not exactly the devil energy, but for some reason I'm getting that. And it's like, it's that feeling of temptation towards something that you know you should really try and break the cycle of. I think October is going to see you break some sort of cycle. And I feel like some of you might, like, especially like if it is a substance, if it is something, you might even keep going beyond October, you know? But in general. So in terms of relationships, because I am not seeing, we've got Aquarius energy here, very detached. Emotionally, I mean, it's like you're not really emotionally there, but like it's not, I don't think it's going to be in a bad way. For some of you, I will just say, just be careful not to shut yourself off emotionally, because I am seeing this detachment from, people, from community, and maybe that is what you need, and I'm not going to say that that's not what you need, but I do feel like your guides are just saying be careful not to detach to the point of just complete apathy. But I do feel, again, like I said, it's going to be very hard to trigger you. It's going to be very hard for someone to get under your skin. I also think some of your relationships or connections might undergo a change towards something that is a little bit more unusual. The feeling that I'm getting, like non-standard, non-traditional kind of, you might, for some of you, there is maybe, okay. I'm kind of getting, for some of you, there's a possibility, and maybe that's what I was picking up at the start. There is a possibility of you entering a non-traditional, unconventional type of a relationship. I mean, it could be like a romantic relationship, but again, I don't even want to call it romantic or platonic. I cannot categorize this relationship. So for some of you, or some of you might discover within yourself through this process that you are not interested in a standard traditional relationship. Now, I know that's not going to be for all of you, but I feel like, this is going to be for somebody here, because what I'm picking up on is this feeling of like, damn, like the relationship structures that exist currently, I just don't feel fulfilled by them. And again, it could be, again, if you're someone who goes out on dates and things like that, like there could be that moment where you're just like, this is not for me, this is not what I want, this is not how I want to meet people, maybe. Again, but I'm just getting this sense of like, not wanting the standard thing, not wanting the conventional thing, wanting something that is, but maybe not knowing exactly what it is that you want, just knowing the things that you don't want. So for some of you, maybe you are not entering the relationship yet per se, and maybe that's the thing that's coming in November, or closer to November. For some of you, you're going to be entering like a very non-conventional relationship with someone in October, and it's gonna be like the word like surreal, but also very interesting, and I think you're going to be very curious in how it develops. There's something like that I'm picking up on. Now, I am not particularly getting, will this work out, will this not work out for you? Keep that in mind. Maybe October goes and you realize actually that didn't work that way. Yes, I still don't want a conventional relationship, but I need to make further adjustments. But what I'm seeing is that you're trying like non-standard routes. You're picking things, you're working through things in a non-standard kind of way. When it comes to relationships, I think you might take an unconventional approach with existing relationships as well. So for some of you, if you're in a relationship with someone currently, you and your partner may decide to take a non-standard, unconventional way of existing within the connection, within the relationship. Or it doesn't have to be like a romantic kind of partnership or whatever. Maybe you are approaching your friendships from a very like non-standard, unconventional kind of place. I do feel, again, there is going to be a sense of detachment from people in general. So I wouldn't expect too many people, for you to engage with too many people in October, comparing to other months, comparing to other times in your life. So let's look at spiritual and self-development. We've got King of Wands. You're like, yeah, it's so funny because you're so magnetic and so charming, and I feel like so many people will want to be, you're attracting a lot, and it's like, as you're attracting a lot, you're also kind of like, I don't want to engage with it right now. It's not that you don't want it, you just don't want to engage with it, because this abstinence, whatever this abstinence is so important. I feel like you're getting into a very attractive energy. in the month of October, but it's like it's a whole process. It's not like, it's not something that happens at a blink of an eye. It's a process. I think you're so detached from outcome. You're like not the way that I'm seeing is like you're not invested almost in anything. And I think it's just be careful that you don't take it too far. It's okay to not be invested and have that sense of a detachment, but just make sure that it doesn't border on like carelessness or this extreme aloofness where you don't take people's feelings or emotions into consideration. Because I am seeing you could risk that. Just so you know. Just so you know. But I feel like overall this is actually an energy that you do need. I feel like that you've been craving this sense of detachment. But I feel like people will want to attach to you. People will want to attach to you. People will want to... It's like, because you're recharging yourself, it's like your battery is full. And it's like people will want to like get that energy off of you. I think your energy is very attractive. I think like more so by the end of October, because I think you're going through the process to begin with. We've got Sagittarius. Interesting, we've got King of Wands, which can be Sagittarius because it's fire signs. And we've got Sagittarius. The freedom part of like being very free and independent is really standing out to me with this reading. I think you are embracing what it means to be independent and free. And I also think you're going to be learning lessons around like not diving so deep into it that you become like careless or completely emotionless. But if you're a really emotional person, you might even surprise yourself. Like if you tend to feel like you're a very emotional person, you might look at this month and be like, damn, like what the hell, what's happened to me? You know, like how am I so detached? How am I so feeling uncaring towards this? How am I just so okay with whatever is happening? There is a level of acceptance, like accepting life for what it is, accepting your circumstances for what they are. And in that, there's a really magnetic attraction that you are showing up as. But yeah, I think that's all I have for you, group number 1. A very interesting energy, a lot of detachment, like not a very emotional month. A lot of abstinence from things that you usually like and enjoy. And I think you're going to be very proud of yourself by the end of October. There's a little bit of a sense of that. So if you like this reading, do like, subscribe, and comment, especially with your feedback. I'd love to hear what you thought. Or just engage with my videos. Like I said, even just say hi. It really helps me, and it helps me find people that I can collaborate with, and people that inspire me, and people who connect with me. So if you engage with my videos, like them, share them. If you share my videos, that would be amazing. But yeah, also if you want to tip me, you can tip me with the thanks button at the bottom of this video. Or you can tip me through my PayPal link. It's just in the description box below. But thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to move on. Okay, let's move on to group number 2. So group number 2, let's see your October. What is it going to be like? Wings. You never needed those wings to fly. Second house, owning. Earth magic. Very earthy. Ego death. My ego dies, my soul awakes to step forward. And we've got the last chapter, write your own story, closure, resolution, forgiveness. Wow, yeah. You're closing something off in October. You're done with something in October. Let me think. I just feel, and it's not like necessarily in a bad way, but you're definitely done. Like there's sense of like, I'm done with this. My ego doesn't need this anymore is what I heard. My ego doesn't need this anymore. So interesting with the second house, something that I'm picking up on here, right? The second house can be things that we own, things that we have. And it's kind of like things that we accumulate in order to kind of like make up our personality sometimes as well. It's like we will accumulate items or we have things to like represent ourselves, right? Or, you know, whether we like it or not, but like the way we dress and the clothes that we own, or like the cars that we own, the house that we own, there's a certain level of like presenting yourself with that stuff, right? So that's what this reminds me of. I'm not necessarily saying that that's exactly what this is referring to, but it's that sentiment of I don't need this shiny, fancy thing that my ego used to need to feel like I'm worthy anymore. That's what I'm picking up on. And this shiny, fancy thing can honestly be anything, you know? But there is a sense of shedding something that is quite superficial, or you all of a sudden begin to see it as superficial. You might even, I'm not gonna lie, you might even see something that you used to like really care about and really feel like you needed and wanted. You may all of a sudden see it as like a little bit superficial. Like, and I don't think in a judgmental way, but more so like, oh, this was just a superficial thing that I felt like I really, really needed. And I just don't feel like I need it anymore. I feel set free. Again, like you never needed those wings to fly. That's what this reminds me of. And it's the sense that the ego is being healed in a way that it's like, oh, I don't need this thing anymore. So some of you might get rid of something. You might even sell something. Like I'm kind of getting selling something that is like quite valuable, but it's quite hard to explain because I think it's going to be different for everyone. Like for someone it could be that they felt they needed like these really, really fancy clothes, and like, see, it depends, because someone might like fancy clothes because they like the artistry of it, or they like the self-expression of it. Like these fancy clothes like help me express myself, but someone may genuinely own fancy clothes because they feel like they need to present themselves like in a high status kind of way. And so like those two people are going to have two different experiences. So basically what I'm getting is like whatever you had, and again, clothes are just an example, but whatever you had that you felt you needed in order to like show yourself as more worthy or more presentable or more acceptable in society, you're all of a sudden realizing that that is not something that you ever needed, or that it was ever required for you to be in some sort of way acceptable in society. Um, and it comes with some sort of sense of closure. For some of you, it doesn't have to be specifically an item as well. It can be like a certain way of living or a certain way of existing. Like again, maybe someone here was holding on to a relationship because they felt like this particular relationship gave them like some sort of legitimacy in society, you know? And all of a sudden in October, you realize, actually, I don't need that. That's not something that I need in order to have legitimacy in society. Maybe you were holding on to a certain job and career, or a career path that you knew you didn't like, you didn't want to be in, but you were holding on to it because you thought it gave you some sort of like legitimacy in society again. So there's that. It's like unpeeling that layer to reveal that, oh, I'm worthy anyway. Even if I don't do this, even if I don't have this, I'm still worthy. And there's a very grounded, like down-to-earth nature to that, right? So it's a very interesting energy that I'm getting with this group. It reminds me of like, you know, when you hear like celebrities that are really down to earth or whatever, it kind of reminds me of that. It's like, it's all in a strange way, it gives you more status. It's probably the wrong way to look at it, but it's like, it gives you more status to let go of this thing that you used to think gave you status or gave you this level of legitimacy in society. So let's have a look at your material and physical reality to get an idea of that side of life for you in October. Okay, we've got two cards here. We've got 5 and 6 of swords. Five and Six of Swords. Six of Swords is in reverse. You might, there might be because it's interesting, Five of Swords can represent the ego as well. Maybe it's gonna take a little bit of work to let go of this. Some of you could be like kind of like working through it, especially if this is something like a career move or a relationship that you kind of know you want to leave, but you're like, I can't really leave it because I'm perceiving some sort of like social status currency. Social currency is really coming through as a big theme for you in October, is what I'm kind of feeling. And the social currency is I think you're just going to be really thinking about this stuff kind of critically. Like, what is social currency? What gives me social currency? And why am I so attached to it? Is the feeling that I'm getting. And especially in terms of like, if this is like a career that you're trying to move on from, like a job you're trying to change or something like that, there will be some conflict within you around it. And I even feel people might question why. Because again, it's like, let's say you are working as, you're working as a doctor or something like that. You're working as a doctor and it pays amazing money and, you know, you're in a high status, but you hate it. You hate doing it. And, you know, if you decide to leave this path, people might start questioning you and being like, are you crazy? Like, what do you mean you're leaving? And those kind of like doubtful energies might seep into your mind that might stop you from moving. So I think you will work it out through the month, but I think there's going to be this back and forth around your ego and like what your heart wants. I also feel like there's going to be discrepancies between what your spiritual energy wants in terms of material things, the things that you want materially, the things that you like the physical reality that your soul wants around you, and the physical reality that your ego wants around you. And how do I put this? Yeah, it's like, okay, the soul may want one thing physically, materially, practically, and the ego wants something else. And the soul is convincing the ego, but the ego is resisting. That's the way that I would put it. So I think you're going to grapple with I think you're going to grapple with your physical reality a lot in October. You're going to really and again, it like reminds me of like, just like your soul might be like, just sell that car or just sell this. You don't need this, just sell this, just give this away. And your ego is like, no, I need to hold on to it. Or your soul might be like, you know, you don't want to do this job. You know, you don't want to be in this career. Just let go of it. Please let go of it. And your ego is like, no, I'm holding on to it. Or your soul might be like, you know, you're not happy in this relationship. You don't want this relationship. Please let go of this relationship. And the soul or the ego is like, no. So that's the feeling that I'm getting, but it's very much connected to more material aspects. So again, you'll know if this is true. I'm going to say this message. If you don't like this message, I mean, feel free to let it go. But I feel like there's a reason that this is coming through. Even if this is a relationship, especially if this is a relationship, there's a certain shallow aspect to it that I'm picking up on. Again, if this doesn't, I feel like this is a very specific group. So if this doesn't resonate, please choose another group. But there's a set, or like maybe you're not in a relationship, but the kind of people that you date or the kind of people that you go for, there's a shallowness to that. And I think maybe you're recognizing it. Maybe you're recognizing your own shallow ways. And again, I promise I'm not preaching. We're all capable of being shallow. We all do shallow shit all the time, right? So I am not saying anything like against you or anything like that, but it's just the message that's coming through. So I need to say it, you know? So I need to say it. I'm sorry. I gotta say it. Okay. So you might be, shallowness is an interesting concept that is coming through in this reading for October for you. I think you're going to be very aware of your own shallowness and even shallowness of other people. There's going to be this acute, almost instant awareness of like, oh, I've been quite shallow about this. And I'm noticing these people be quite shallow about this. And it's going to hit you in a way that is kind of like conflicting, because I think there's going to be a side of you that will not want to admit that. Again, fair enough. We've got Aquarius for your practical reality. You're going to change the way that you see your practical reality. And at first, it might even be very off-putting even to you. It's like your own perspective change is going to be quite off-putting to you, because not only because, oh, all of a sudden I have a different perspective, but also because the old perspective is going to seem so shallow all of a sudden. And it's not to say that the old perspective was completely shallow, but you're just acutely aware of the shallowness compared to the new perspective. That's the best way that I can put it. I'm hearing, what am I doing? Like, that's what I'm getting this, like, this feeling of like, what am I doing? Like, I'm doing this from a completely shallow perspective. I'm doing this from a perspective that is completely, like, there's a sense of like cringe. Like, you might cringe at yourself a little bit in October, but it's a good thing that if we cringe, it means we've become more self-aware. Like, honestly, like, that's why I believe, like, I have a really big feeling around like embarrassment and cringe. Being cringy and embarrassing is actually a good thing, and recognizing, like, being embarrassed and cringed out by ourselves is actually a really great exercise, because it shows us that we have grown and we have obtained more self-awareness than before, that we're able to objectively look at ourselves and go, oh, you know, like, there's this self-awareness there that allows us to be embarrassed or cringed out. So I am picking up on some embarrassment or feeling a little bit cringed out. Some of you will be able to move through that very easily. Some of you maybe not so much. But I feel like there's a sense of like, why have I been going after this? Why have I been trying to make this work, or have this, I don't know, like, have this career or have this relationship when it doesn't resonate with my soul? And now it makes me feel like I was doing it for very shallow reasons. So, I mean, it can be whatever, like, it can be anything. I'm not saying it can only be career or relationship, but that's the sentiment that I'm getting with you, group 2. So let's have a look at your relationships. Let's get the energy of relationships for the month of October. 2 of Swords. Just analyzing your relationships from a very logical point of view. Not really knowing. It's funny, Libra season brings a need for decision making, I guess. So not being able to make decisions about your relationships. Yeah, some of you maybe, I'm not gonna lie, some of you are maybe thinking of like ending something, ending a relationship, ending a connection, and like not knowing whether to do it or not. It's like, I'd rather not deal with this right now, is what I'm picking up with your relationship. So you may feel like you'd rather not deal with certain issues or certain circumstances with your relationships. It's like, I'd rather not face this right now. I'd rather just analyze it endlessly in my mind. I would say just be careful, because I'm kind of getting repressed anger here. I'm not gonna lie, this month for you, you're gonna have to do a lot of shadow work, group 2, a lot of shadow work. And it's gonna be that kind of feeling of like, no, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I feel like this is actually gonna be really, really good for you. It's gonna help you elevate. It's gonna help you move into a really good direction. But the thing that I'm picking up on here is kind of like, if there is some relationship, friendship, or something like that is just like, you know, that maybe you've been holding on to that relationship for quite shallow reasons. You've been holding on to that connection, whether platonic, romantic, whatever kind of connection this is. If you've been holding on to it for shallow reasons, you might even kind of feel a sense of anger below the surface, and yet still not make a decision. And you not making that decision to break off this relationship, because this person could be making you feel like shit. This person could be making you feel negatively, making you feel like you're not worthy. There's this kind of sense of like holding on to things that you think make you more worthy in society, but in reality they actually make you feel super unworthy when you are immersed in them. It's like that career that you're doing, you feel like it creates a sense of status, of worthiness in society. You're able to feel worthy in front of your peers or something like that because of that career, that particular route. But in reality, you know that deep down, when you are engaged with that career, your sense of worth is actually diminished. You don't feel worthy. Again, similarly, you're maybe in a relationship where you feel like this relationship brings you a certain sense of status or a certain level of social currency, like I said earlier, and you feel by staying in this relationship, I get more worth. But in reality, staying in that relationship, this person actually makes you feel unworthy. A connection with this person feels unworthy. And I am seeing, there's some aggressive cards here with the Five of Swords here, and the Mars energy here. A lot of sword energy. You need to be careful not to overthink this month. I feel like there's a lot of repressed anger at these types of situations. You need to find healthy outlets for your anger. There may be a need to walk away, rather than fighting with somebody, just walking away from them. Like, this could be a family member. Like, maybe you are trying to maintain a relationship with a family member because of status, because of social currency, or whatever. But in reality, maybe at this time in your life, you need to walk away from this person. I'm also being attracted to the fact that it says defend self, like Mars energy being represented by defend self in this card. Maybe there's a need to stand up for yourself and say something, but not in a way that is like aggressive, from a point of view of actually exercising your voice. There's a lot of air energy here, though. Like, we've got all swords cards and we've got Aquarius. This feels like you're trying to logically process everything and understand everything, whereas you need to feel things. You need to feel the embarrassment. You need to feel the cringe. You need to feel the anger. You need to feel, and you're not wanting to feel. You're wanting to think. You're wanting to understand with your brain, with your thoughts, not with your body, with your emotion. Okay, let's see spiritual and self-development. Let's see what is going on here. We've got this. Wow, the ego comes up again. Your ego is not going to want to let go of some things that your soul wants to let go of. Like, because your soul's going to be like, we're ready to let go of this. And the ego is like, no, like one more night, one more day with this thing or whatever. I don't know. Like, this is so funny. This reading is like reminding me of a poem that I wrote. If you want to check out my poetry, I have a page. It's called Chiron Poetry. If you want to check it out. But I don't know why I'm pulling a second card, but I felt like wow, the Emperor. I just really get this feeling of the whole of October feels like grappling between like a new elevated version of you that knows there's something about getting rid of these like societal crutches. It's like, what are you using as a crutch? As a status crutch. It's almost like, what are you using to seem like you're worthy in society when you know that the engaging in this very thing actually makes you feel super unworthy? Actually makes you feel like you don't belong, like you don't deserve to take up space. Neptune, dream and transcend. there's just this feeling that you've surpassed something. You've surpassed a certain relationship or type of relationship, or you've surpassed a certain way of being. You've surpassed, and it's not that, like, for example, there might be people, like, let's go back to that example of being a doctor and hating that career and knowing that you feel unworthy every time you do something within this career. But it's like, there are some people who will love being a doctor and it will really resonate with their soul. Just because it doesn't resonate with your soul doesn't mean that it's not like a good path. But the doctor that loves what they do, yes, they get all the perks of the social currency, but that's not why they do it. They don't do it because of the social currency. Like, so that is kind of the feeling that I'm getting here. And you're recognizing, I think you're just learning how to see things from the perspective of like, am I doing this because I genuinely feel called to it? And there's a genuine calling from my heart center, from my whole being towards this thing, towards this person, towards this energy. Or am I doing this because I am perceiving this as something that will give me social currency, social worth, and some sort of status in life? And I think that's the development that you're going through in October. But I do feel like it's going to be a bit of a doozy. It's going to be a little bit confusing for whoever picked this group. I think it's going to be a process where there's going to be a lot of internal conflict. And again, I think it's all for the best. I think you're actually going to come out the other way feeling so much freer, feeling so much more abundant than you did before, and very grounded and very down to earth, and just feeling like, I don't need this. I don't need this because I am worthy without it. And I'm going to get things that I actually want, and I actually want to do, and I actually want to partake in. But I do feel you're going to have to let go of control. You're going to have to really... your ego is going to be like fighting for its life. That's what I'm getting. Your ego is going to be like throwing hands with the rest of your being a little bit. It's going to be a very interesting month for you, but you're ready to close that chapter off. So whatever resonates is like a superficial thing that you're holding on to, and you will know. I feel like if you stuck around in this group, because I feel like a lot of people would have gotten like annoyed and clicked out of this group, like, no, thank you. If you stuck around through this group, let me tell you that you are there's the sense that you're accepting then. You're accepting like, yes, there is something superficial in my life that I'm holding on to that actually doesn't make me feel worthy. In fact, it might do the opposite. It makes me feel worthless in some sort of way. And I don't want to do it anymore, but I also want to do it because I feel like it gives me some sort of social status, social currency. So I think there's a sense of acceptance. And for others, like, I don't know how many people will watch this till the end, but there is this sense of just forgiving yourself for being a little bit shallow in the past. Like, I forgive myself for being a bit shallow because we all are shallow, like, to some degree or another. We all partake in shallow activities, at least, sometimes in our life. And so I think that's another aspect of this like spiritual progression for you, is forgiving yourself for being okay, I heard a shallow asshole, but I'm really, really sorry. Like, that's not for me. Okay. That's something that I heard, but I'm talking about this from a perspective, like we all have moments like this. So it's not that there's something wrong with you, or you were this like a nasty person, or there was something wrong with you. It's just the perspective of recognizing, oh, like, that was my shallow era. It's over. That's what I'm getting for you, group number 2. Very honestly, a fascinating reading. So interesting to relay the message. I don't think I've ever had a message like this come through, and so I'm so excited that I got to like talk about something like this. But if you like this reading, do like, subscribe, and comment, especially with your feedback. I'd love to hear what you thought, but I'm gonna leave it here. If you like this reading, make sure to... Did I say like, subscribe? I probably did. You know what? I'm like, my brain's not working now. But yeah, I'm going to leave this reading here. If you want to tip me as well, you can tip me with the thanks button at the bottom of this video, or through my PayPal link. I do appreciate the tips as well. But I'm going to move on. So let's move on. to group number 3. So group number 3, let's get into it. Very interesting readings today for October. October is going to be an interesting one, I think. So let's see. October for group number 3. What is happening? Let's get into it. We've got Potion. Remember to practice self-love. We have Mercury retrograde. Reinvention. I think Mercury retrograde ends at the start of October. We've got Connect with Gaia. You know what's funny? There's been a lot of like earthy vibes with all the groups so far. And I'm getting earthy vibes here again. And it's so funny because Libra season is like air. But there's a lot of earthy energy with October so far from what I've observed. We've got soft. It takes courage to stay soft in a world that can be hard. There's a strength in my vulnerability. I'm getting softness for sure with these two cards together. And we've got broken elevator. Your shadows are showing themselves. Shadow self, fears, negative thoughts. I'm really being attracted to the softness of this first and foremost. And I feel like that's what I want to focus on. Because there's like, remember, practice self-love. And there's a lot of softness around her. It's like very kind of blush pinks and very soft energy. I feel like October is going to be quite a soft month for you. But maybe not in the way that you expect. I don't think you're usually a soft person. Group number 3 is the way that I would put this. It feels like it's kind of counterintuitive for you to be soft. I don't think you like being soft. I don't think you enjoy being soft. I don't think being soft is something that regularly or usually resonates with you. But I am seeing... Maybe you've done a lot of shadow work recently, lately. You're in the process of doing a lot of shadow work. There's a lot of, especially maybe during the Mercury retrograde that, has been happening and will be happening until the start of October. I think it's like until the 3rd or the 4th of October, right? And then there's going to be a shadow period. So, I feel like you are executing some sort of like self-discipline and self-connection in order to remain soft in situations and settings that would have in the past made you be very rough and firm. And I think you're used to being very strong. This energy gives me the vibe of someone who's kind of tired of being strong. Who's tired of being like constantly needing to be resilient, to be strong, to be tough, to have hard skin, to blah, 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 blah. Like there's a sense of like wanting to be delicate, not wanting to be strong, not wanting to execute power. And I feel like you are taking every opportunity possible in October to connect to that sense of softness. And even if there are people who try to trigger you, even if there are energies, circumstances, whatever, that try to trigger you, you are very focused on your softness. I heard hold the soft vision. I don't know if that is something, that's just something, it's like, I just see you going, something is triggering you and you're like, hold the soft vision, and it does not mean that you're not strong under the surface. Just because you're choosing to be more soft, it does not mean that you're not strong. It does not mean that you're not powerful. It just means that you're choosing softness over like roughness or being rough around the edges. I feel like maybe people have even described you as being rough around the edges in the past. I don't know if that resonates, but that is just something that I am getting. Or maybe people would have seen you as a little bit more... the word that I'm getting is rocky, like a little bit rocky, but you're interested in that softness in October. I'm also really, because I'm being attracted to this basic witch on her t-shirt. Something that I'm getting is that you're not like afraid to be basic. You're not afraid to be boring. There's something like that. Like, I'm not afraid to be boring. I'm not afraid to be basic. I'm not afraid to even be average is what I'm getting. Average can be good. Like I'm just getting this sense of like, why do I always need to strive for greatness? Why do I always have to strive for genius? Or like maybe I don't want to be, maybe I just want to be average. I think you're going to be embracing that like basic average energy within yourself in the month of October. Like, why shouldn't I be average? Why shouldn't I enjoy like the averageness of my being is what I'm kind of getting. There is a unique experience within that all in itself. This gives me the feeling of someone who's kind of bored with intensity. And wherever that intensity lies, I don't know. You will know better, but it's like I'm kind of over the intensity. It's like it's almost like you're craving things that are deemed boring, deemed boring by society. There's a craving for things that are deemed boring by society. So, sorry, I was in my head asking about your physical and material reality, so I am going to take these cards. Okay, we've got 5 of Pentacles and 5 of Wands. Yeah, I just get this sense of like, I don't want to compete. I just don't want to compete. You don't want to compete for a job. You don't want to compete for, like, you're bored of the sense of competition. And I'm even getting that maybe in the past you would have been a very competitive person. You might have even been an extremely competitive person in the past. But it kind of, the energy here, it feels like when we're competing, like I just feel depleted when I compete. There's this very strong sense of depletion, of being tired, of feeling like it doesn't get you anywhere. Competition doesn't get me anywhere. Competition doesn't bring me anywhere. I don't know, like materially, I just feel like you're tired of competing. Like if you're looking for jobs right now, you might be really fed up. You could be very fed up. Like I'm just so fed up of this competitive nature. I'm even getting some of you may decide to create your own job, like because you're like, I feel like I'm just always competing for something. Why don't I create an employment opportunity for myself? Like I don't know how that's gonna figure for some of you, but there's definitely a sense of like I don't want to fight for my material reality. I don't want to, because it just makes me feel like I'm more in lack. Like every time I have to compete for something, it just makes me feel like I'm in lack. But that does not mean that you're not going to be proactive. It's like, just because I don't want to compete anymore does not mean that I'm not capable of being proactive. Just because I want to be soft and I want to be more delicate with my energy and I want to be more relaxed with my energy does not mean that I'm not going to be proactive. I can be both. It takes courage to stay soft in a world that can be hard. There is strength in my vulnerability. I think that sentence, there is strength in my vulnerability, that's the exact energy that you are projecting in October. You don't want to act tough. You don't want to be tough in any sort of sense anymore. And in that, like, ironically, that's strength. You might choose to be very vulnerable in a career setting or a job setting. You might decide to be very vulnerable with the people in your life. I'm kind of getting like, no matter the outcome, no matter what way this goes, I want to choose to be vulnerable. I want to express myself vulnerably. I don't care how, like, what that accumulates to. You want to be proactive with your career. You want to be proactive with your finances. You want to be proactive with your situation in general. But there is this sense of like, I don't want to be proactive in a way that calls for competition. I don't want to be proactive in a way where I have to compete with blood, sweat, and tears. I want to be proactive in a way that is more soft, more relaxed, more laid back. And I think you're going to be finding like, or trying to find the way that you can be more proactive without this like overwhelming sense of competition. I'm also seeing that you're going to be rejecting anything where you are pitted against other people in any sort of way. There could be this energy of like, I'm not interested in doing this. I'm not interested in being pitted against other people. If anything, if I'm put into that position, I'm immediately turned off. Okay, let's look at your relationships. Your emotional energy, your relationships in October. 2 of Wands. Yeah, it's like, I don't want to compete with people. I want to collaborate with people. Some of you might actually collaborate with someone to create, like, again, you know, the way I was saying here, you might like create employment opportunities. You might actually collaborate with someone to create a job or to create like something where you might even say to a group of people like, hey, rather than competing against each other for jobs, why don't we get together and create something together? Why don't we start this up? Why don't we get into this? And I also felt the need to sit up straight right now in this specific part of the reading. So there's a sense of like confidence that I feel in your connections in October. I think you're going to be very confident if you are someone who's collaborating with people, if you are someone who is connecting to other people, especially like in terms of business. I'm seeing that's going to bring you a lot of confidence. But I think in general, your personal connections, your personal relationships in the month of October, there's going to be some very strong connections that reinforce you. You're going to feel reinforced in October. Yeah. I'm honestly, for a lot of you, I'm getting like soul tribe energy. So some of you could be meeting members of your soul tribe or solidifying relationships with members of your soul tribe. There's a closeness here that I'm really picking up on with very specific people for you. People who see you and understand you and get you. This might even be like a group effort in redirecting, reworking something. Let's remodel this. Let's rework this. Let's create something of our own. Let's like trace our steps back and see where we went wrong. I'm seeing really like mutual, almost telepathic understanding between you and people, close people in your life. If you have a partner, if you're in a relationship, I'm seeing a very close understanding between you and this person. I think if you're single, there is potential for you to meet someone who has this like very strong understanding of who you are. And you have a very strong mutual understanding of who they are. But I think for most of you, the relationship energy is more so concentrated on collaborators. Unless this person that you're going to connect to romantically is like a collaborator as well, I think your relationship energy is more so focused on people who will collaborate with you on in an effort to recreate something or redistribute something, reorganize something. I just keep getting this idea of like mutual understanding because I think you're going to meet people who have been misunderstood in a similar way that you've been misunderstood. Or maybe you've already met these people and there's going to be this kind of back and forth of creating something. I'm getting very strong collaboration energy here with this group for the month of October. So if you are planning to collaborate on something, this is giving me an indication that it's going to go well. If you were not planning to collaborate with someone, but now that I say it, there is that like feeling of like, yeah, I actually would like to collaborate with someone, and I have the person in mind. This is like your confirmation to go for it. There's a sense of you being proactive, but again, like I said, in a very soft way, in a way that really honors you, not overworking yourself, not putting yourself into a place where you are exhausting yourself just to get something done, doing it very mindfully. Like I think with a lot of like, there's a sense of being grounded here with Connect to Gaia. And there's also this feeling like she kind of looks like she's in a meditative state. She is in a meditative state. And there's a softness across this spread. But at the same time, this softness does not mean passive energy. There is also proactive kind of effort. Just because I'm soft does not mean I'm not proactive. That's going to be the same in your relationships. You could find yourself being very soft, gentle, delicate with people in your life, but it does not mean that you're not proactive. It does not mean that you're sitting back and taking bullshit if there's bullshit being doled out, you know? Let's have a look at your spiritual and self-development. Seven of Swords and the Two of Cups in reverse. I really feel like you're, for some of you, you're healing your negative associations or kind of like, if you have like some negative associations with relationships or about people in general, if you have some like negative self-limiting beliefs around people, relationships, how relationships function, I'm even getting like betrayal. If you have something about feeling like you always inevitably get betrayed by people or that people are not really there for you, I feel like that's being healed. And I think it's being healed through collaboration. Even if this is a romantic connection, I'm seeing that there will be collaboration involved. Like, it's not just like, oh, you know, we got together, we got on, we fell in love, like romance, dates. Like, there's going to be something that you're going to want to work with this person. You're gonna have like, let's create a project together. Let's collaborate. Collaborative effort. Seventh house. Wow. I think your relationships are going to be super important. Like, you're, especially those like close knit relationships, partnerships are going to be super important in October. I think you're going to have a lot of opportunities to collaborate, and your guides are saying seize those opportunities. Make sure that you're seizing the opportunities for collaboration. I think through these collaborations, another thing that will happen is that you're going to reinvent yourself into this soft energy, because I think whoever those collaborators that are coming in for you, whoever they are, these collaborators are channeling that soft energy as well. There's something about your mindset that is really going to be changed. Your mindset is really going to be changed around relationships specifically. I think you're gonna stop expecting people to betray you, or at least you're gonna be on the road to that in October. And I think for a lot of you, I also feel like you're gonna realize that some codependency issues or crutches that you relied on in the past, you don't need them anymore because of these collaborations, because you will be able to hold your own, but in a soft way. This feels like a month of working with or meeting or connecting to people who are very reassuring to you in ways that might even be unexpected. Like meeting someone and being like, oh, I don't know, like I don't trust people anymore. People always betray me. People don't have my back. I always have to compete. And that being twisted and reconfigured and shown to you from a different perspective, and you being kind of shook by it and being kind of surprised by that energy and being like, oh, I didn't expect that outcome. I didn't expect that kind of outcome from this person or from these collaborators. But collaboration is standing out strong for me. Like really, really strong. If you've been thinking about working on some sort of collaborative project, this is definitely your sign and you should definitely take it. I also feel like you're gonna feel more confident in speaking in a very truthful and honest way with these people and not hide parts of yourself with these people, whoever these people are. But it feels like a soul tribe. So some of you could be really in contact with your soul tribe in these moments. In October. You're healing some issues with intimacy as well, is what I'm picking up on. So, and I don't mean sexual intimacy. I mean intimacy in general. You're healing certain issues that you've had around intimacy. But yeah, you're done competing. I think that's also going to spill over into like if you're dating or you're in any sort of relationship, you're done competing. You're done competing for people's attention. You're like, I'm not in a competitive energy. If you are going to make me compete with somebody, I'm just going to walk away. If you're going to make me feel like I need to be competitive in order to get close to you or be with you, I'm just going to walk away. Like you're turned off by competition in the month of October. And it's not to say that you will never want to compete again, but at this period in your life, it feels like you're really turned off by competition. So that's what I'm getting for you, group number 3. So very interesting reading once again. All the readings today have been very different in very interesting ways. So if you like this reading, do like, subscribe, and comment, especially with your feedback. I'd love to hear how that resonated. But I'm going to move on. Or just comment to engage. Help me with my engagement by commenting. You can also tip if you like. You can tip with the super thanks button at the bottom of this video. It's like a love heart button. Or you can tip me on my PayPal. The PayPal link is down below. So with that, I'm going to move on, but I'm going to take a sip of water first. Okay, we're going to move on to group number 4. Let's get into it. Okay, October. For group number 4, what is coming up? Let's see. We've got Tree, Let Them Go. It's very rare that this card comes out. I just want to say, I never get this card out of this deck. So, Tree, Let Them Go. Okay. We've got Grand Cross Provoker. Wow. Okay, we've got Water Magic. We've got Fire, someone who is passionate, fearless, and exuberant. And we've got VR beach, experience life through a new set of eyes, perspective, self-awareness, and new experiences. There is, for a lot of you, there's a need to let go of a person, for sure. And this person is like someone who's very triggering to you. You know that this person's very triggering to you. You know that, like, it might be very hard to get, like, let go of this person. But for some of you, it's not so much the person. It's more like a sentiment or something like that. Like maybe something that's been said to you in your childhood that you can't seem to let go of. There's a lot of letting go energy this month for the collective from what I've seen so far. And I think there's been a very interesting energy for September the last month. And September was like, there was a lot of similarities for September. Here, I would say each group has been very different. But at the same time, there's been a lot of energy of like letting go of things. For some of you, it's really time to let go of a person. Like really, it's time to let go of this person, whether it be a friend or, you know, person you're dating or a partner. It's just time to let go. It's a draining energy. And what I'm kind of getting is like, dare to fantasize how life would be without them and just watch your fantasies be like amazing. And watch yourself manifest a really cool life without this person. But for some of you, it's not even just, this person may not even be in your life anymore. Like this could be actually talking about something like someone who's not in your life anymore, but you're still grieving them, but it's time to stop grieving them now. And not like, oh, abruptly just stop grieving them, forget about them. Obviously it doesn't work that way, but it's time to recognize that this person, they're gone. They're gone. They're gone. Again, I'm not seeing it from a perspective that someone has like passed away or anything like that by any means. I am getting like, so this feels more, even more, the more I tap into this energy, the more it feels like someone who's not in your life any longer, but you're holding on to the energy of them. This could be a fire sign, of course, because we've got fire energy here, but it doesn't have to be. I feel like this is someone you had a lot of passion with. Like a lot of passion. And maybe the ending was quite passionate as well. But I feel like you're ready for this new perspective to realize that no matter how passionate this connection was, doesn't mean that you will never have another passionate connection. A very specific group. So if this doesn't resonate with you, I'm going to read the message that I'm getting. If this doesn't resonate with you, please pick another group because I just feel like it's going to be very, very specific, this one. Just because this connection was passionate does not mean, and I mean passionate, like it doesn't have to be romantic. Like maybe it was like a really passionate friendship with a lot of fun and a lot of passion, a lot of adventure. This feels like someone that made you feel a sense of adventure, a sense of wonder and passion. But it's time to accept that this person is not coming back. Some of these messages have been quite tough. So it's time to accept that this person is not coming back. This person is not re-entering your life. This person, you don't need this person. This person actually holds no value in your life at this point. And this person actually kind of served as a trigger for you. For some of you, I feel you might have not even known this person that long. This person was meant to come into your life to trigger something within you, to trigger a certain level of healing or evolution in you. To help you evolve further on your path. in general, I feel like it's time to let go of not only this person, but also like what they represented, the energy you were in when you met this person, the feelings you felt when you were around this person. I think October is going to see you needing to honestly kind of get over this person. Let's look at your physical and material reality. And I also feel, okay, one thing that I'm picking up for some of you, this person might reemerge, but not like to come back into your life, but more like they might like a picture or they might do something. I don't know. It's like this person might reemerge or like a text or something like that. But it's like, because they can feel you getting over them and they don't like that. They don't want that. So just be careful. Be careful that you're not getting hooked on that energy. For a lot of you, I don't think that you will hear from this person again. But for a small amount of you, there will be this instance where like the person is like trying to rehook you. Let's look at your physical and material reality. Six of Wands in reverse. I just keep getting that you need to like get your confidence back up in October. That's your objective. I feel like that's what your guides are saying here. They're like, come on, we need to get your confidence back up. And I think from a physical perspective, especially, maybe you need to get your confidence back up in terms of your looks and your appearance. Maybe you allowed this person that triggered you to make you feel like you weren't as attractive for whatever reason. Like, especially if that's the case, your guides are really saying like, make sure that you give yourself the honor and not the honor. Oh, I don't know. I don't know how to put this. Wait, give me a second. Like, remind yourself that you are the full package, or you are incredible. I feel like someone here has knocked your confidence, and it's like you want this person back into your life, but all this person does is knock your confidence. And this could be a friend, this could be a family member, this could be someone who you were romantically linked to. I am not saying that this has to be like one specific type of a relationship, but there's a longing that I'm feeling with you towards this person, because you are hoping that their behavior will change, but it will not. This person's behavior will not change. They will continue to knock your confidence. They will continue to make you feel like it's like pick yourself up is almost a feeling that I'm getting, but I don't want that to sound like not empathetic. I don't want that to sound like, but your guides are almost kind of like the energy of your guides is very like, pick yourself up. Come on. Come on, it's time to get up. It's time to get that confidence back. You're beautiful. You're amazing. You are worthy. You have a lot going for you. Why the hell are you still like longing, yearning after this person? You don't need to long for this anymore. That's almost the sentiment that I'm getting with this energy. It's like, there's no need to long for this anymore. This person, I think for a lot of you, it is a person. It's not a thing. I think 100% it is a person for all of you. This person added no real, tangible, true value to your life. They gave you no value. They added no value to your life. So there's a real drive for you to just I know saying just get over this person sounds so like trivial, but it's like to start seeing, like getting up and saying, you know what? Yes, this person actually didn't bring anything to me. this person only took, or this person only came into my life to kind of like strip me down. We've got the 7th house. I mean, partnerships. Maybe you miss the partnership that you had with this person. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the physical feeling of having this partnership with this person is what you're missing. The tangible experience of having this partnership is what you're missing. Whether it be physical intimacy, whether it be the safety of having someone in your home if you lived together, or maybe this person, once upon a time you were friends and there was a certain security around. There's something like, you're not missing anything about this person other than like their physical presence in your life because of familiarity. It's like this person has a sense of familiarity to you. And it's like you're not recognizing yourself. It's almost like you're not seeing how well you're doing in your career. It's almost like how you're not seeing how well you're doing. Like you're doing really well, and you're just not, because you don't have this person in your life, you're not seeing that. It's like there's a lot that you have going for you, specifically from a physical perspective, from material perspective. You have a lot going for you and you're not seeing it. And I think in October, your guides are really going to be pushing you to see it. That it's like, why are you so focused on this person when you've got all this other stuff going for you? But I think a lot of you miss physical intimacy with this person. Like the physical aspect of intimacy is what you're missing with this person. Maybe the physical intimacy with this person was really, really good and passionate and beautiful, and that is like really hard for you to let go of. So we're looking at your emotional, sorry, relationships. I think in October, you're finally I think maybe it's gonna take you a little while, but I think you're gonna be ready. Some of you maybe, like, for example, if you've been hung up on one person, you will start dating again. If you've been hung up on, a family member, maybe you are getting out with friends and having like a nice social life to get over this like family member that maybe like treated you a certain way. Again, like whoever this person is, you're finally starting from like a blank, from the ground up, and you're giving yourself, you're just, I think you're gonna get over someone here in October, finally. And I'm really getting that energy of like, finally, like I've been hung up on this person for so long, and get over them either like from a romantic perspective, platonic perspective. Like it obviously depends for everyone here who's watching this reading, it will be different. But because we're looking at like, how does that figure in your life? It's important because you're finally like free from the shackles of this person controlling your self-esteem. And you're able to envision a world for yourself, or envision something really beautiful from yourself, not through this person's eyes, but through your own. Maybe you have even maybe lived your life kind of envisioning your life through this person's eyes a little bit. I'm not saying that it was like completely like that, but there was probably an element of it somewhere there. I think in terms of especially friendships, I'm really picking up on a lot of fun times with friends. So it might even be that you have friends who are like taking you out and getting you to engage with them so that you can get over this person. I think you're going to have opportunities to really forget about this person, but it's important that you take those opportunities because, you know, we can, of course, just not take them as well because we're like, no, I'm going to think about you're healing from a person from a relationship. For some of you, maybe you've been going through a breakup. Maybe you've been, maybe this is something that's been happening for months. And maybe in October, you finally feel like, oh my God, thank God I'm finally over this person. I am finally over. I'm finally feeling, but I'm also getting like, for some of you, make sure that you, again, if this person tries to hook you, if this person is trying to like get you back into their grip, it's going to be very important to discern that. I don't think that's going to be for all of you. I think for a lot of you, again, like I mentioned, I'm repeating myself, but I just feel the need to repeat myself. For some of you, this person will not be contacting you again. For others of you, this person will contact you like right at the precipice where you're about to heal from them, where you're about to like move on. This might even be like someone who comes in very passionately and goes, oh my God, like I miss you. I'm in love with you. Please, like, let's get back together. And that's going to be a test. I think for some of you, it's going to be like a test to go, no fucking way. Absolutely not. And I think I'm not seeing reconciliation as like a good idea within this energy. I'm not seeing reconciliation. The best way to move forward from this person is to move the fuck on. Whatever way you need to do that. Whatever way resonates. This feels like something you need to move on. But I'm seeing that once you do move onto these new experiences, or like maybe even like dating other people. Maybe you've been going through a breakup for a very long time and you're finally letting yourself like go out there and see other people and be out there in the world. And this person maybe realizes this or senses this, and they come back trying to like, you know, get you back. But it's not a good idea to get back with this person. And again, it could be a friend, it could be a family member who's seeing that you're moving on from them, that you're not like pining after them anymore. And yeah, your guides are kind of saying, look, you're going to have to set some strong boundaries with this person. Letting this person back into your life is not the best idea. And I'm very cautious about saying stuff like that. That is not something that I usually would say in a reading, but the message just feels so strong. I think there's someone here who has triggered you, who has put you down. Probably like, I'm kind of getting like negging, like someone who, you know, would say things to make you question yourself, or, you know, kind of like diminish your self-esteem. And it's like your best bet is definitely to move on from this person. And to pick yourself, I keep getting that phrase, pick yourself up from the ground. And don't let this person knock you down again. Again, it's funny. Group 4 lately has been really associated with like a person. Dust yourself. It's like pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep moving. No matter how passionately this person tries to come back in. And I am getting like, don't feed into the fantasy. If this person does come back and tries to communicate with you, don't feed into the fantasy of what they're trying to sell. Refer back to what like the experience has been so far with this person. What has been the experience with this person so far? Let's look at your spiritual and self-development. 10 of Swords. I'm really getting that you are learning this month of October that there's almost this, okay, how do I form this? Because I feel like there's something forming in my mind. Okay, in my brain. The way to heal a painful ending is not to heal it through allowing whatever has ended to restart again. The way to heal a painful ending is to feel the pain of that ending and keep on moving forward. And it's kind of like, because the feeling that I'm getting here is kind of, it can be so tempting to let somebody back in because you think that will make the pain less, that it will lessen the pain. If something ended and it was painful and the process of it was painful, to say to yourself, oh, if I let this thing that hurt me back into my life and this time it works, you don't have guarantee of that, of course, but this time it works, it will heal the first painful ending that has happened, but you don't have the guarantee of that. And I feel like, yeah, I just feel like your guides are saying, again, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, keep on moving. You will meet good people. You will meet people who will help you with this healing process in October is what I'm feeling. You will meet people who will help you with this journey that you're on. I think most of you, it feels like you're on a journey in getting over a person here. And I think in October, you're coming to a place where it's either get stuck on them further or pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep moving. That's like your phrase group for October. We've got the sun, self-express and embody truth. The sun also represents the ego. The sun represents this willpower. Your willpower is going to be tested. Your willpower on moving on from for some of you, maybe you even ended the relationship. Maybe you were the one who was like, enough is enough, I'm moving on. And maybe that's going to be tested. Your willpower in being able to carry this on will be tested. Maybe even in a major, major way. Because maybe finally you gathered enough courage and gathered enough willpower and strength to end it. You were in this process of trying to get over this person, trying to like keep on moving. And all of a sudden they're coming back and they might even they could really put on a show. They could really put some effort in. And I'm not saying that in that moment, genuinely, they don't want you back. But the question here is this person good for you at the end of the day? Are they capable of giving you what you need? I am seeing that the answer is no. I'm seeing that the answer is no, and you will be surprised by how amazing you can feel by really sticking to stick to what you've started is kind of what I'm getting. Even if this person was the one to break up with you or break the connection off, just stick with what you've started. Stick with it and keep moving. And don't allow your focus on this person to take away from some of the successes that you're going through. It's almost like you're diminishing yourself. You're not seeing the beauty of what you're accomplishing because you're giving this person so much attention. And I feel like your guides are almost kind of annoyed that this person's getting so much attention in your story, in the story of your life. Again, viewing your life through the lens of their eye. It's through their eyes. Why are you viewing your life through their eyes? Or maybe you're not seeing it in that kind of way as much anymore, but there's still an element of that your guides are kind of they're pissed. They're a bit pissed about it. So, yeah, I'm not saying your guides are angry with you, in a way, person will be angry with a person. That's not, your guides, it's more frustration. It's this person doesn't matter anymore. Stop thinking about it. And it's not that you should stop thinking about them from a heart space. Oh, it still hurts that, that didn't work out with this person as friends or as lovers or as partners, whatever. It's more from a perspective of stop what do they think of me right now? What are they thinking about me right now? I wonder how they see this connection right now. I wonder how they perceive me right now. I wonder what their opinion is of this. That's the way that your guides want you to stop thinking about this person. For some of you, especially if you're watching pick a cards on this person, stop it. Stop it. If you're watching pick a card readings on what is this person thinking about me right now? What are they feeling? What is their opinion? Cut that out is what I'm getting with your guys. Your guys are just we're done with that chapter. We're done with that story. Watch pick a cards about yourself. About yourself and what the hell you're doing. And where your life is moving. Because I think you're undermining some of your successes right now and maybe carrying it into October. But I think that's the work that you're doing in October. And there's going to be many, many, many opportunities for you to lean into that feeling of no, I'm getting over you. And I keep getting, because I didn't want to say it because I actually went to see the Anastasia concert. Or Anastasia, I don't know if you know Anastasia. She's an American singer, but I think she was way more popular in Europe. But I went to see her in concert. But the song that she has, there's a lyric, it's like, let me get over you the way you've gotten over me too. And it's been playing in my head the whole time I've been doing this reading, but I'm like, no, it's just because I've seen Anastasia like recently. It's not a channeled song, but now I feel the need to say it. So let me get over you the way you've gotten over me too. I feel like that should be your attitude. What's the lyric after it is like, now I'm, and now I've did it a strong, now I'm moving on. Maybe it's called I'm Out of Love. I'm sure you know that song. I'm out of love, set me free. So I think maybe that's a song for you, even though totally a song that I, heard in concert a couple of days ago. But maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a reason, okay? So I'm out of love by Anastasia, if you want to check that song out for yourself. But yeah, there's definitely this sense of just like, let's just get over this fucker. Whoever this fucker is, let's just get over them. Let's put that effort in to get over them and be done with it. So that's what I have for you. Group number 4. I hope this reading helped. I hope it gave you some insight. Yeah, it was mostly about this person, but I think it's like this is what was needed to be said. So whether this is platonic, romantic, you're getting over this person. It's like by hook or by crook, it's time to get over this person in October. Let's do it. Let's put it all into it. So that's what I have for you. Group number 4. If you like this reading, do like, subscribe, and comment, especially with your feedback. But even if it's not feedback, just say hello. And if you want to tip me, you can tip me with the thanks button at the bottom of this video, or you can tip me on PayPal. The link is in the description box below. I'm going to leave this reading here. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.